All right, no judgments. This is a judgment-free zone. I had some shadows explode in here, and I just don't have my life together right now. I haven't like cleaned this up or anything. So yeah, that's just what we're gonna deal with. Hey guys, thanks for coming back to check out another video. So I'm sure that since you are seeing this view, you know that it is build your own palette time. So this is the palette that we had built last month, and I gotta say, I didn't get as much use out of this one. I really just used my 2 shades that are in my pan, those eyeshadows, and then I think I used this shade from Looxi 2 or 3 times, and this other matte shade from DandyLions 2 or 3 times, but for the most part, this went really underutilized, but I still wanted to come on here and build another palette because you guys, you are not going to hear me say this that often, but I have just really been craving a blue eyeshadow palette. Like specifically the one that I keep thinking about is from Menagerie Cosmetics. It's the Whale Song palette, and I know that has some greens in it, but I don't know, it's just those blue shades, like I just can't get it out of my head. So I thought what we would do today is we'll put all the shades back from this palette except for our 2 that are in our pan, those eyeshadows. And then I'm gonna look and see what blue shades I have from my singles, as well as I brought in all of these different eyeshadow palettes that I have that have magnetic pans. And I think what I wanna do is like swatch all the blue shades, pop out some, and do a build your own palette. I don't think it will fit in that little 9-pan like Tarte palette, so we'll probably use this ABH palette. But yeah, I want a blue eyeshadow palette. I don't know what it is. I don't know what has taken a hold of me. So yeah, the first thing we're gonna do is put back all the shades from this guy. All right, so I think what we're gonna do first is pull out all of the like blue-esque shades that I have as actual singles. So the first one is Dryad from DandyLions. This is like a denim kind of blue shade with like a gold shift to it. Then I of course have this shade from Looxi Beauty, which is Frostbite. Hopefully the lighting is not too terrible. We are just filming in natural lighting. And then these are more like greens. This one is like a blue kind of purple shade. It's Charmed from Looxi Beauty. So I think I will pull this one out just to see. And then this it's a white with like a purple shift. So we're gonna leave that one in here. I do have Heavenly from ColourPop right here. I think I will pull this guy out. And as far as like singles come from in here, I think that is all the blue ones we will get. Okay, so I already have my Kaleidos Futurism palettes depotted. I did a video on this, but I think what I'm gonna do is just take out the blue shades from this palette. And again, we're gonna swatch out all of these blue shades and then I think build a palette that way. I think that's the plan. So from in here, we can take out, this is from the Electro-Turquoise palette. This is Forcefield. Then we can also take out Tron, which is from the Electro-Turquoise palette. I have hit pan on this shade recently. Then we can also take out Neptune, I think is what it's called. Yeah, Neptune, which is from the Astro-Pink palette. And then the last blue shade in here is Wired, I believe. No, Wired is the brown. What is this one called? This is Digiteal from the Electro-Turquoise palette. So that is all of the like Kaleidos shades that I will be removing. All right, then I have this is in a ColourPop magnetic palette, but this is the depotted Lorac Pro Brunch palette. And so it's very much of like a light pastel palette. In the viewfinder, it just looks super washed out. But from here, I do want to pull out this shade. It's Blueberry Scone. We will swatch that with everything and see how we feel about it. And then the rest of these are magnetic palettes. So I do have the Killer Purr palette, and this, if I could open it, does have this like kind of teal blue shade. It's called Watering Hole. I think I'm going to try to pop this one out using my flashlight, which has a magnet in it. Aha. That did come out. Okay, so we will look at this one. Then I have the Tarte Unleashed palette, and the mirror on this is probably going to blind us all. But it does have this Party Animal shade as well as Totally, and I don't know, I might pull out Hawkward as well just to see. I think those will be the three that I pop out from this magnetic palette. All right, then I do have Safari here, and this has a really nice, like, very dark matte blue shade right here. So I'm gonna pop this guy out, and maybe even Stone, because even though Stone is like a gray kind of shade, I think that that might be helpful in blending out a lot of these blue shades. Like I said, I just want like a blue palette and something just to play around with and kind of like satisfy this itch. All right, then the last palette I have with a blue shade in it is the Metropolis palette. It's the shade Aqueous, if I'm not mistaken. It's this one right here. A lot of these, like even this one, pulls more like of a green, but that could be really pretty too. Okay, I'm gonna take this shade out as well, which is, if we look at the shade, this is Jubilee, and then like I said, this is Aqueous. So I'm gonna pop these two out. Okay, so here's all of the blue shades that we pulled out, and honestly, I think they're all really pretty. Is this going to be like a one and done type palette? No, but I want to have my blue eyeshadows all in one place just so I can like show myself like you don't need another eyeshadow palette, especially blues. Like that's a shade that I'm like uncomfortable with. You guys know I have a blue shade in my Fantasy Self palette. So anyway, while this is not like the most like cohesive thing, I think I am just going to pop all of the shades into this ABH palette, and then we will swatch everything out. Alright, so looking at these two, these do look more green just upon first impression, and like you see, we have like a nice even like little 15 pan lineup here right now. So this was Totally from the Tarte Unleashed palette, and then this was Watering Hole from the Menagerie Killer Purr palette. So let me put these back into their rightful spots. All right, I tried to line these up a little bit better to make it look a little more aesthetically pleasing, but yeah, here are my blue shades, and I know some of them might seem like they lean a little bit more green, but again, I think this is gonna be nice to help me get that itch out. So let's swatch everything. All right, you guys, so there are our blue shades. I know some of these come across as more green, like this one, which was the, it was from the Metropolis palette. I don't remember what it was called, but I know what spot it goes in. And then this, this one, which was Neptune from the Astro-Pink palette, definitely has more purple to it, but it does have like a blue shift. So I think that'll be really pretty. And then some of these from Looxi Beauty, these two, same thing. They're lighter than Neptune, but they are more of like a blue with a purple shift. But I think paired with like the pastel blueberry scone or stone from the Natasha Denona palette, like I just think it could be very pretty. And then Hawkward here, I don't know if it translates well on camera, but it's definitely more of like a gold with kind of like a green shift. However, I think that it, like stone, is almost a little bit necessary just to have a little bit of variety. But again, I'm not really planning on this being like a standalone palette necessarily. I mean, I would be interested in trying to create a look with this. Let me know if you guys would be interested in seeing that. But I want to get like the itch of like I have enough blue shades out of my system. So this is the best way to do it, I feel like. But yeah. One last look at this month's Build Your Own palette. It is a, what is it, 15 pans? 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, 15 pan palette, all blue. Who would have thought that Haley would be sitting here like, I want a blue palette? Well, you got a blue palette. So that's it though. I hope you guys are enjoying yourselves, having a good weekend, and I will catch you in the next video. Bye.